Sexuality gets learnt. Many of us can be walking around carrying unnecessary shame and guilt within our sexuality because in Western culture, we don't have resources that inform us about our sexuality. The subject is still very taboo in our culture. It's not expressed openly and discussed in social settings in a way to inform those who are yet to discover their sexuality and who are yet to discover sharing their sexuality with others. So the shame and the guilt that we experience from our first experiences, or from not having collected enough life data to truly know our values or how we can honor ourselves or even honor those that we share with, is not ours to carry. It's not our fault. We haven't had the resources to inform us, to support us in making conscious decisions. So therefore, the shame and the guilt that we experience is really not our fault. We learn through experience. We learn our sexuality. Our sexuality gets learned. And until we can collectively release the taboo of this subject and be able to discuss it openly and with a sense of curiosity and with a sense of reverence that it deserves, only then will we be able to truly be comfortable in not just exploring our sexuality, but have references that help us discern faster in ways of honoring ourselves and honoring those we share with. It feels really important to speak to this, to bring light, so that anyone who is experiencing shame or guilt of their sexuality in themselves, perhaps also feeling regret of their first experiences, or not just how they were treated, but how we've also treated others. It's really important and really potent for us to bring compassion to ourselves and also to others, but really starting with ourselves, to recognize that sexuality gets learnt, that we need to collect life data to discern our values and act according to our values. Before we can do that, everything we do is simply copycatting. And in this present moment in Western culture, the main sources of reference for sexuality are pornography or Western medical health books that lay out all of everything that can go wrong before even addressing everything that can go right with the natural naked body and the sexual organs and sexuality, and also sharing sexually with others. So we have these two key references. We have pornography, which is so disconnected from the holistic experience of sex, which is absolutely disconnected from sexual energy, is absolutely disconnected from honoring ourselves and honoring others. It's very much focused on the physical, focused on the mind, on fantasy, on stimulation without sexual energy being activated. It neglects the subtle senses of sexual energy, which are incredible, which are full body, are energetic, include not just our physicality, but also our emotional body, our spirit, our subtle senses, our mind as well, but not in a way that the mind is disconnected from the whole experience of the body, of what is being experienced and felt, and allowing the energy to be within the body and of the body. It's integrated. The mind is very much integrated. It's not a fantasy or a disconnect that the mind is traveling out of body. So my main point is wanting to highlight that we learn through experience, that sexuality is learnt. We learn it. And at the moment, we're in a culture that is not supportive of us to recognize the powerfulness and the sacredness of sexual energy and ourselves as holistic beings. It fails to recognize the connection of spirit within our sexual experiences, within ourselves as sexual beings. So any shame or guilt that you are carrying around your sexuality, I invite you now to give yourself full permission to release, to allow anything that needs forgiving within you and within others, to allow yourself to forgive for the sake of clearing an energy debt to your past, for the sake of clearing the weight that it is to feel and experience shame, guilt, or regret, especially and specifically when it's not your fault.